Nearly all salespeople eventually hit a developmental ceiling where they plateau as a salesperson and never really get any better than they already are. The way that I became incredibly successful in tech sales is by completely bucking that trend. In other words, I was never satisfied with my level of development, and I was constantly looking to find the weakest part of my sales game, then seek development on how to get better at it, and then put a plan in place and log my progress day in and day out. And I used to write all of these things out, usually on like spare pieces of paper, and I'd make these rudimentary worksheets and different journals to be able to log my progress. I took all of those strategies and worksheets and turned them into this workbook here that's now available on Amazon. In this video, I'm going to go through how to use that workbook to get the most out of it. Oh, and if you've never seen my face before, my name's Troy Barter. Over the past nearly 20 years, I've helped thousands of salespeople go from barely making ends meet to making over $100,000 a year every year consistently. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and if you like everything that I go over in the workbook, there'll be a link to be able to purchase that on Amazon right below this video. All right, let's hop right in here and I'll show you guys how to effectively use this workbook. So first page, you just can put your name on there so people know who the workbook belongs to. More importantly, right underneath that, it says to learn how to get the most out of this workbook, you can enroll in our free Up Your Sales Game course at salesorg.io or by scanning the QR code that's right below that. I'll also put a link to be able to enroll into the course for free below this video. You do not need to buy the book to have the course for free, but you'll get the most out of the course hands down if you have the book. All right, the next page here is about zeroing in on the weakest part of your sales game and then starting to develop a plan to be able to improve it. You want to only focus on fixing the absolute weakest part of your sales game, not 3 different things at a time, because when working to improve anything in your sales process, anytime that you make a change, it's going to impact your performance. But if you're not careful about the changes that you make, it won't necessarily positively impact your performance. It can negatively impact your performance as well. When you find the absolute weakest part of your sales game to work on, it has the highest chance of there being a positive impact on your performance and the lowest chance of a negative impact. So if you're looking to make changes and you're looking to improve, doesn't it make sense to tinker with the thing that you're already the worst at? Because even if things don't go well when you were to improve it, it doesn't make as much of a difference than if you tried to fix the strongest part of your sales game, where if you mess that up, it can be catastrophic to your actual performance. Now for this video, I wrote down an example of a problem to fix and then logged everything to give you an idea of how you can use this workbook. So for example, in this first window, it says, what part of your sales process do you need to improve the most? I put stick rate. In other words, need more of the prospects I book to show up to the meetings. Why do you believe this needs improvement more than any other part of your sales process? Again, you want to make sure that you're zeroing in on the weakest part of your sales game, and that's why that question is there. So what I put was, I lead the team in bookings, but due to my low stick rate, I'm 3rd in completed meetings. In other words, this person would be booking a whole bunch of meetings, more than everybody else on their sales team, but not that many of them are actually showing up. So even though they're doing more work and they're booking more meetings, they're not leading the board in how many of them are showing up because everyone has a better stick rate than they do. So the next window, it says, how is this currently negatively impacting your performance? Well, if there's less completed meetings, that means less deals, and you're doing more work for less results because of that lower conversion rate. Next question is, how would it positively impact your performance if you could improve this? And I put, if I could raise my stick rate over the team average, I'd be our #1 SDR by far, because I already have the most bookings, like I already said. So if I can improve the stick rate, combine that with the high amount of bookings that I have, I'll be killing everybody. Next, the question is, how will you measure your improvement? So the first thing that you're going to identify is what metric or KPI is attached to the issue that you want to fix. And for us, it's the stick rate. In other words, the conversion rate between your booked meetings and the amount that actually show up. So what is the personal average? Let's say that right now I'm averaging 32% on my stick rate. In other words, whenever I book a meeting with someone, 32% of the time they actually show up. Now, next it says, what's your team's average? You can find this stuff usually in your CRM. If not, get with your manager and they should be able to help you find this information. The team's average here is 48%. So there's a 16% difference between what I'm doing currently and what the team average is. Next, I want to know what the highest averages are. In other words, is anyone overperforming in this metric that I'm weak at? And here I found that there was a couple of people that were at a 61% stick rate, way higher than where I'm currently at, almost double, and doing 13% higher than what the team average is. those are people that I'm going to reach out to so I can learn from them what they're doing. And then finally, what's your desired end result? I'm trying not to be greedy on this. I want to lift my stick rate from the 32% that I'm at to the average. Not even to those high amounts. I just want to get it to that 48% because I know if I can get to the average of everybody else, I'm going to be the number one SDR because I'm booking more than everybody else already. Now, where will you find the solutions? In other words, how are you going to seek development? Where are you going to seek development to be able to improve this weakness that you found? So the first question is, what will you need to learn, change, and or improve to be able to solve this and be able to actually improve? So the first thing I put was stop booking meetings 1 week plus out on the calendar. I'm booking meetings too far out, and I already know that without even having to seek any development. Next, I put I need better meeting confirmations, and I probably need to pull more pain. Next question is, what advice, training, courses, content, etc. will you leverage to improve this issue? Let's just say those highest averages, those 61%, those were Lindsay and Tom on the sales team. So first off, I want to seek development from Lindsay and Tom, the people that have the highest conversion rates at this metric that I'm the weakest at. Next, let's say that I found a stop prospects from no-showing YouTube video that looked promising. I'm going to go through that and I'm going to write down anything that I think I could use to help lift my own stick rate. And let's just say that SalesOrg.io has a course, no more no-shows, and I'm going to enroll in that course as well. Now, that course actually doesn't exist yet. It's just for example. Now, let's just say that you went through all of that development. You got with Lindsay and Tom, you found their best practices, you checked the YouTube video, you went through the course, and you made notes of all of the things that you thought that you could add to your process to help improve your stick rate. You would write that down here where it says, what were the actionable takeaways from the advice, training, courses, content, etc. that you found? So for this, I put down, make the pain matter for my prospect, send social proof with calendar invites, in other words, case studies, testimonials, things that will reduce their skepticism and increase the chance that they want to show up to the meeting. Next, I want to book meetings within 3 business days of the cold call. In other words, I want to shorten that booking window. I don't want to book meetings that are a week plus out on the calendar because it increases the chance that they're not going to show up for the meeting. Next, I want to make sure that I confirm the meetings the day of the call every single time. And I want to make sure that the prospect picks the specific time. If they pick the time for the meeting, then it's a higher chance that they're going to be more available than if I pick that time for them. Next, it asks to implement the actions above, what current habits and or actions we need to change. So I put down booking meetings too far out on the calendar. I know I need to change that. I'm not pulling enough relevant pain to the person that I'm talking to, and I'm not confirming the meetings enough. I'm not doing it every single time. Sometimes I forget. So from there, it says you found the issue and researched the solutions. Now it's time to execute on what you've learned. So the next page is a journal for the entire week with action goals, successes, struggles, and any adjustments to make from one day to the next. What this helps do is make absolutely sure that what you're working on fixing is top of mind every single day, because you're always writing down what your goals are, what your struggles are, what your successes are, and the adjustments to make every day throughout the day. You're forcing these good habits to start to materialize and turn into actual habits for yourself. So on Monday, my action goal was to pull relevant pains that matter to my contact. I knew that if I could pull more pain, there was a higher chance that I could get on the show to the meeting. So what were the successes for the day? Well, I asked extra questions and I got some good answers. The struggle was I still didn't book anything. I had a couple of callbacks for the next day, but I didn't book anything that day. So adjustments to make, keep pulling relevant pain, and maybe work on shortening the booking window if I get that person on the phone to book that meeting the next day. On Tuesday, the action goal, again, pull relevant pain, shorten the booking window. What was the success? I booked a meeting with more pain and it's only 2 days out. So it's no longer a week plus out. It's going to increase the chance that they're actually going to show up. What was the struggle? I forgot to send a case study. I forgot to offer to send testimonials over to them, which I know would increase the chance that they would show up. So the adjustment to make is to make sure that I leverage that social proof, those case studies and those testimonials for anyone that I talk to and end up booking the next day. Wednesday, the action goal was send testimonials and case studies to the bookings. What was the success? I booked 2, pulled pain, and I sent over the social proof, those testimonials and case studies. Struggles, prospects seem to be impatient on the call. See, whenever you're doing these things after you book the meeting, that means that you're going to be on the phone for them longer after they already picked that time that they want to meet later on in the week. So sometimes you'll run into prospects that are getting impatient. They don't want to have this extra conversation. So what's the adjustment to make? Well, I'm going to better set up those next steps, and I'm going to make sure that I confirm bookings because I know I have a booking the next day and I want to make sure that I confirm it. So for Thursday, my action goal was to confirm the booking for that day. I wanted to remind myself to confirm it because in the past I'd forgotten to do that that, and I know that that was leading to some of that issue with my stick rate. So what were the successes? The booking for the day showed up. I confirmed it and it showed up. What was the struggles? I didn't book anything additional for the day. No adjustment to make there. The prospect showed up to the meeting. We're just going to keep the momentum going into the next day. On Friday, I put my action goal was to confirm the bookings that I had for the day and to make sure that I ramped up my activity so I could keep putting bookings on the board to make sure that I was taking advantage of these new habits that I was creating. What was the success? 1 out of the 2 bookings showed up, and I booked 1 and sent over social proof to them. What was the struggles? Well, I could have probably pulled a little bit more relevant pain on that 1 that I booked. Adjustments to make. I'm going to make sure that next week I pull a little bit more relevant pain on any one that I'm booking. Do you see what's happening here? All that I'm doing here is forcing good habits. I'm writing down whenever I slip up, and then I'm making adjustments the next day. It seems wildly simple because it is. You're just making sure that the weakness that you're attacking and the way that you're improving that weakness is always top of mind. You're always logging these things day in and day out, every single day for the week, to make sure that you're constantly looking to improve that weakest part of your sales game, because it stands again to have the highest chance of a positive impact on your sales performance and the lowest chance of a negative impact. So the next worksheet here is your summary for the entire week. So we're going to start with the metrics and the KPI progress. So when looking at that, the starting metric was 32%. This week's progress shows that the 30-day rolling stick rate is now at 35%. It went up 3%. That's good. And the desired end result is still 48%. That's my goal. So how do I feel about this week's progress? New bookings are showing up a lot more than they used to. I'm happy with this week's progress. If I'm already seeing percent improvement week over week, by the end of the 30 days, I should be at my goal or higher based on what I've already done in the first week. Now, the next question is, what positives did you notice when applying your daily action goals? For this, I put down pulling more relevant pain and made booking meetings easier. And I put down prospects loved the idea of the case studies. When I sent them over, people were loving the idea of it, and it did lead to more people showing up. And when they showed up to the meetings, they actually were a little bit more excited. It's just as an aside, and that is how it works. Next, it asks, what difficulties did you notice when applying what you learned, and how did you overcome them? So for this, I put down prospects want to rush off the phone as soon as they pick a meeting time. And the way that I fixed that was I worked to set up next steps faster, and I better explained why I needed to cover them. So once they committed to the meeting, I said, hey, a couple of quick questions right here just to make sure that I got you over to the right person and to make sure that I save your time on the next meeting. So because I set up the reason why I was asking additional questions, they were more likely to give me more of their time, which led to a better stick rate. And then finally, it asks, what is your action plan for next week to ensure you stay on pace to reach your desired end result? For that, I put pull more relevant pain, maintain that high activity to keep the pipeline going, continue to shorten the booking window, and to keep up better next steps, setup, and efficiency. Now, this workbook is based on a 4-week action plan. So I just showed you week 1. You would do the same thing for week 2, week 3, week 4, and then you would make it all the way to the month-end summary where you would log your results. So let's cover the results. So we started at a 32% stick rate, and at the end of the month, we're now at a 49% stick rate, which is a percent higher than what my end result actually was when I started this plan. It asks, how do I feel about my month-end result? I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm now above average in stick rate. Now it asks, what habits have you created over the past month that help this part of your sales process? I put down shortened booking window, pulling more relevant pain, leveraging social proof, and then confirming the meetings consistently. Then it asks, where do you feel that you still have room for improvement in this part of your sales process? I put I could be a little bit more efficient with next steps, and that could use a little bit more improvement. Outside of that, I'm happy. So the next question is, if you aren't satisfied with your results, continue to work on this part of your sales process until you are. Note below what you'll do differently over the next 4 weeks to improve your results. For this, I am already over what my end goal was in terms of the metrics, so I'm happy with it. I put not applicable. Now I'm going to repeat, but I'm not going to repeat working on my stick rate. I already fixed that. I'm going to maintain those habits. I'm not going to throw those out the window. I'm going to keep doing those habits that I've created over the past 4 weeks, but now I'm going to start over again. I'm going to go back and find the absolute new weakest part of my sales game, how it's affecting my performance. I'm going to find the averages, and then I'm going to seek development and create another 4-week action plan and work on that. And I'm going to continue to do that over and over and over again. This workbook contains 13 different 4-week action plans because 4 times 13 equals 52. You have a year's worth of development. And if you apply what I just showed you every single day, every single week, constantly working to get better, create habits, and always attack the weakest part of your sales game, you are going to become a way better salesperson at the end of the year than what you were at the start of the year. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I hope that you pick up the workbook. This is legitimately exactly how I became extremely successful in tech sales month in and month out by never being satisfied with my level of development and always creating new positive habits for the weakest parts of my sales game.